Well, Dave, we've got Clayton Kershaw on the mound today. What was it like for you seeing him in the All-Star game, getting the start, and really just kind of having that moment, taking it all in?
It was great. It was great. I think there was for a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer to check a box. There's not many boxes he hasn't checked. So I think that's something personally for him that he wanted and was very grateful for. And he took every moment and enjoyed it, which was great.
Could you have expected his season to be like the one he's having this year? Whether it was that first start in Minnesota, the one in Anaheim right before the All-Star, getting that start, things like that. When you look at this year for him, do you have imagined it could have gone like this?
Yeah, I could have. I think that was all kind of contingent on health. You look at the back of the baseball card, when he's right and when he's on the mound, it's very good, and it's consistently been throughout his entire career. So early on, we were just mindful of the health, but he's done a really great job of taking care of himself, and obviously the performance mirrors that.
In the beginning of the year, you really stressed that you're trying to take care of him and try to get him to October. At this point in time in the season, how do you continue to do that, and how do both of you continue to do that?
Well, it certainly helps that he understands that he's mortal, and understanding the goal is to be strong through October. But certainly, you look at Minnesota and you look at now, things are different in the sense of his build-up. There's going to be a longer leash, but yeah, any time that I can, cut an inning that makes sense, we'll do that. I did it with Julio yesterday. So I think that, we're going to push him, but you still got to be mindful of that particular day, but also the longer term too.
When exactly did he realize that he's mortal?
I think it was a few years ago where he kind of changed his off-season workouts. I don't remember when it was, where he was always a heavy lift guy, doing the sprints, and I think that just understanding that there's other ways to skin a cat and to be prepared. And so that off-season, I don't recall, maybe a few off-seasons ago, and then that kind of took into the season. And even now, his work in between starts is different, and understanding when we do cut back an inning, it makes sense to do that. And even in that start in Anaheim, could he have gone out for another inning? Absolutely. But it just, with the score being what it was at that moment, it didn't make sense, and he understands that.
Do you know if his bullpen session was any different coming off the All-Star game, or was it the same?
Knowing Clayton, I think it was the same. I didn't see his pen, but I'm assuming it was probably the same.
Dave, how's Justin Turner feeling today?
Justin is going to swing a bat. He's been doing some rotational stuff. I haven't talked to Justin yet. Our hope is that he'll be available at some point in the next series, but I don't know right up to the minute.
IL?
No, it's certainly a possibility, but I don't think that's likely though.
You are TBA for your starter on Wednesday. Is that waiting and seeing on Heaney?
It's waiting on Heaney, but as all things right now and how it's been, I expect him to make that start on Wednesday.
And who would start? You're not going to use an opener with him, given the
No. He'll start.
Should be a six-man for all three turns of this 18-game stretch? Or?
No. We'll just kind of see how Andrew comes out of it, and we can reassess then.
It seemed like for 5 or 6 games, but last one for early this month, Muncie kind of found something, but then the last week and a half or 2 weeks, the struggles are back. What do you kind of see from him? What kind of changes?
I think there's in his work, in batting practice, I see it really consistent, really good. He's in a good headspace. I think from what I see is that spin, off speed, he's getting disconnected in his mechanics, and which is forcing him to release the barrel, put the ball on the ground to the pull side. This is going to be a challenge today in the sense of this guy, heavy changeup, and how can he stay connected to use the big part of the field. So like any hitter, when you're pulling balls on the ground, you're not going well. So he's got to get the ball up in the zone and use the big part of the field. And so when he does that, he's taking better swings. So again, I think the work has been consistent. I think the headspace is good, but he's got to make that adjustment to get back to the big part of the field.
You kind of pointed to the IL stint, it's like a reset for him. Are you kind of disappointed that it hasn't really been that since he's been back in terms of like production?
I think that we were certainly hoping for more production from when he came back, but there's still a lot of baseball left, so I'm counting on him.
He struck out a lot looking. Happened again yesterday. Is that an approach thing? Like just mentally, does he still have areas he needs to kind of get better in?
I think with all hitters, the really good ones, the consistent performers, know exactly where they're trying to hunt a zone. And I think with Max, when you look up at the scoreboard and you see an average up there, I think you start chasing a little bit more. And pitching is too good to try to cover every quadrant. So when I see him swinging at change-ups down below off to then swing at balls in off, that's telling me that you don't have a consistent approach. So, honing in that approach will certainly be helpful.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the trade deadline is coming up here pretty soon, and your team is getting mentioned a lot again. What are the challenges? You've had some star-level guys come in mid-season. What's the challenges in incorporating that with the team?
I don't think it's, with what we have now with the culture of our ball club, our team is always in conversation as far as at the deadline, because we have a great system. We're always trying to win a championship. So this is nothing new to us. So our job is just to continue to go out there and play good baseball. And also, I think that we've also learned that, Andrew in the front office has done a great job in the sense that if there is a need, then they're not afraid to go out and do something. But for us to sit around and wonder what could or couldn't happen, that just isn't helpful.
Is there a need in your eyes?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is there a need in your eyes?
No, there's no need. You can always get better, but looking at our 26, and then you kind of look out to 4 to 6 more players that are getting healthy, there's certainly no need, but there's always a way you can get better, and we're always kind of kicking tires, but certainly no need.
You're going to be out in the pavilion starting the future Dodger chant again for Juan Soto?
I will not be. I'll be in the home dugout.
Did you notice
Planning
that?
on trying to get him out.
Did you notice that during the All-Star game?
It was hard to miss.
Well, you sort of mentioned you brought in a lot of star players over these years. Like that onboarding process, does it get quicker, easier just with those guys, or?
Yeah. I think it's something that I really love is there's a lot of talented star players out there, but we're very mindful of getting the right player, and so the bar is high to be a Dodger, and Andrew realizes that, and so I think when you talk about acquiring Mookie, you talk about acquiring Trey, you talk about signing Freddie, these are the right superstar players, so it's still got to be the right player, and I think that's more important than just the talent alone.
You can still start the chant from the home dugout. Just get the reserve level going.
I don't think our front office would appreciate that
Might cost you a little bit.
one. Yeah. I'm in the
Hey,
same
you don't
mode.
know. It's an ambiguous chant. It could be towards anybody on the field.
It could be towards Juan
true.
Toribio.
Yeah.
I'd wave.
I'm not specifying which one I'm rooting for. Yeah.
Have you seen anyone get slapped with a tampering fine or anything like that ever? Or? I can't think of one off something like that.
I don't want to be the first then. How about that? I like my players.